time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
May the 15th, 2025, the NFL schedule officially released after a nonsense 5-day period where they were trying to teardrop their way. Little nuggets here, little nuggets there. Here's one game, here's two games, here's this, here's that. The full schedule's out. All the teams put out their fancy little videos of announcing the schedules on social media. Most of them were horrible. Some of them were okay. Nothing matches up to what the Titans did a couple of years ago when they had all the fans announcing, just looking at the logos, determining the teams. But you got a lot to touch on there. Caleb Williams, a report came out earlier that Seth Wickersham, who is writing a book that is coming out in September. We haven't heard about this book in any sense, but it's called American Kings, a biography of a quarterback. Seth Wickersham, who has written a couple books, who is a reporter, who has done stuff on the Patriots, the whole thing. He's known in the sphere. Reported that Caleb Williams and his family had serious doubts on Chicago leading up to the 2024 NFL Draft, to the point of which they were exploring options to avoid the CBA, to avoid sticking with with their rookie contract, even exploring options to go to the United Football League, the UFL, alternatively. That's how much concern they had in the Chicago Bears. Allegedly, according to this report, the book is coming out in September, but little nuggets have dropped in the past couple days. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, ESPN 106.3, also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Next 2 hours, right here from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Now, I don't know what to think of this Caleb Williams report because it's away and done with. There's a brand new coach. There's a new offensive coordinator. There's new basically everything in terms of the brass outside of Ryan Poles, the general manager for the Chicago Bears. They're all out. Eberflus is out. They got Shane Waldron who is out. All those guys are gone. Yet this comes out now. I can't imagine that the Bears are too stoked about this coming out because I could definitely imagine that Caleb Williams has got to be regretting the decision to speak with this author leading up to the draft. I don't really know what to make of it. I really don't.
It's an interesting time for it to come out. And I said earlier, Kyle, it's so Bears. Like, the Bears can't avoid this kind of drama. This is indirectly coming in their plate. And we've seen Eli Manning hold out. We've seen famously John Elway hold out. I didn't think at the time this was even going to be a thing. We heard the rumors that his dad was disgruntled or whatever, didn't want him to come. Well, it turns out that Caleb as well wanted to go somewhere else. Colin, from what I'm reading, he wanted to go to the Vikings. He loved Kevin O'Connell. He had a great visit there, and he said, I need to go to the Vikings. He told his father, and his father said, let's do it. And then he met with the Bears and said, quote, I can do it for this team. I'm going to the Bears. The Bears declined to comment. Are they trying to create is this manufactured madness?
Manufactured by who? The author got the quotes a year ago. He hasn't released the book yet because the book was not finished. It's just peculiar timing. My question is, why the hell is Caleb Williams and his father, Carl Williams, talking to a reporter about a book about the quarterback leading into the draft before you're even drafted? He said, Carl Williams, who is Caleb Williams' father, quote, told this author that Chicago is the place quarterbacks go to die, when he knew that Chicago had the number one pick in the draft and they were likely taking Caleb Williams. What good does that do absolutely anybody? If you're unsure about where to go, what to do here, if you're telling agents that's one thing, but authors, reporters?
And I'm assuming the quotes came, I'm assuming Seth Wickersham got it from agents, right? That he went out and did his due diligence on this.
I don't know about that. It says, Chicago's the place where quarterbacks go to die, quote, by Carl Williams. And he goes, he told Seth Wickersham, the author of this book, that in the months before the 2024 draft.
That's nuts.
So why are you talking to reporters at this point? Whether you want to make a big deal out of it or not, Caleb is seemingly bought into Chicago. They like him in Chicago. They got the right coach for him, you'd think, in Chicago. Chicago is poised to have a pretty halfway decent year with a lot of primetime games on their slate. But the idea that he needs to have a book written about his state of mind at this point, it's one thing when the Rodgers book comes out last offseason, and that's more about his career, his ups and downs, his relationship with his family. It's more about that type of thing. It really, and maybe the exit with the Packers a little bit, this is not that. This is a one-sided affair of what the Williams family, including Caleb, thought about Chicago going into the draft. Mm-hmm. Why is that good PR? Why is that necessary to even consider that? Mike and I work in the media. If we were writing a book leading into the draft, and I'd be dumbfounded if somebody were to talk to us. I don't understand that. I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't even ask for it. It's just very bizarre, the fact that this, I'm not surprised this is coming out because it's an interesting story, number one, but I'm just shocked that they said these things to somebody where they knew it was going to be published and they didn't have a plan of attack.
Colin, how about this too? Caleb was concerned that, so this left one option, to publicly attack the Bears and the city of Chicago. This is after Ryan Poles told Caleb Williams, we're drafting you no matter what. In the book, it says that left one option, to publicly attack the Bears and the city, hoping that it would make the situation untenable, similar to John Elway and the Colts. But if Caleb was also concerned that if they did try and the Bears refused to trade him, it would make a tough situation. In the end, Williams told Wickersham, I wasn't ready to nuke the city. I mean, and this completely to your point, listen, we don't need to, did he talk to agents? No, he talked to the source. He talked to Caleb Williams, and he talked to Caleb Williams' father. I'm with you. Why is there, who is pushing to have a book written about this? What was the point? You got drafted by the Bears, okay. So now a book is written about it, how you didn't want to go to the team that you're going into year number 2 of. Did the Bears do a bad job of keeping Eberflus and getting a guy in Shane Waldron who wasn't even there for 9 months? Absolutely.
And they fired them after 10 games, right? So they fired them right after Thanksgiving. So from that standpoint, the Bears were wrong, but the Bears corrected that mistake. What'd the Bears do? When Ben Johnson could have went anywhere, he went to Chicago. They were able to get him. And he was getting calls from everywhere.
Yep.
For 2 years. And he went to Chicago. So they were able to sell him on that. And that's with the same general manager there. He didn't even choose his general manager. And that was a big deal. That's why I thought Jacksonville was a decent job for him. And he went to Chicago. And you want to talk about what Elway did, going with bailing on the Colts in the 1983 NFL draft? Well, the Colts moved out of Baltimore the next year. They moved to Indianapolis in 84. That was 40 years ago. I know Eli did it. I don't think this is the right thing for quarterbacks to do. I'm also confused. We were sitting here a year ago saying that, hey, Chicago, this is a team that's fresh off 7 wins. They were halfway decent. They maneuvered a lot of good draft. They have 2 picks in the top 10 on a 7-win team. I believe they won 7 games 2 years ago.
They did.
That's a good team. I don't understand why quarterbacks think like this, and I don't understand why, above all, why they would go to the media to discuss this.
It makes sense to me, and I told you multiple times last year I thought Caleb kind of had a subpar year. The numbers were there. The 62 completion percentage, the touchdown-interception ratio was there. But he was sacked league-high 68 times, and I thought in big moments didn't step up to the plate. It's making sense now. I don't think it's lack of talent. I don't think it's him not having the ability to be a franchise quarterback. Colin, I don't think he wanted to be there. I don't think he wanted to deal with the head coach, Matt Eberflus, and I think he questioned the whole operation with Waldron and company. Granted, they fired Waldron and Eberflus. But at the same time now, let's see next year. I'm willing to get off of Caleb Williams a bit, and I know you got on me a bit for getting on Williams, and fair play to you. He didn't have that bad of a year. But I'm willing to give Williams another chance with Ben Johnson being in the building now. It's not surprising to me, though, that he didn't play well in big spots with all this stuff coming out now, and how him and his dad didn't want to go to Chicago.
But here's another part that was included in this report, that Caleb Williams was unhappy with Chicago. You can read it on ESPN.com. What would happen, he said, quote, at times Williams said he would watch film alone with no instruction or guidance from the coaches. Nobody tells me what to watch. Caleb Williams told his dad, I just turn it on. So that was when Eberflus and Shane Waldron were at the helm in Chicago.
And how about that, Kyle?
So what? And Caleb Williams had 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. They started 4-2. They had their moments. They weren't great at all, by no means. He was sacked 70 times. Yeah, maybe Chicago wasn't equipped to utilize his services early. Maybe they weren't. So can I blame him? Absolutely not. But can I blame him for talking to the media and for thinking like this going into the draft? Absolutely.
You keep that between your dad. You keep that between you and your dad and your family.
They're so involved.
They are involved. Big time. And Kyle, it's only going to get worse with the NIL and all of this. I mean, it's only going to get worse at this point. But how about Chicago? How about the Bears today? The Bears got pants today on so many levels.
And they declined to comment.
Yeah, Colin, I still go back to they did months of research on who to hire for an offensive coordinator. How does Ryan Poles have a job? He's lucky Ben Johnson. And listen, Ben Johnson could easily fall on his face.
I think that Bryce Young trade keeps Poles alive.
It did. But let's get this out of the way. I think Ben Johnson's going to be a good coach, and I hopefully think he's going to turn around Caleb. I root for that team. I got a soft spot for the Bears. But there's a good chance, too, that Ben Johnson can stink and all hell breaks loose again. They did a 5-month search on who to hire for an offense coordinator. All right, they decided not to fire Eberflus. Should have fired him. But they decided to keep him. And then now they need someone to run the offense. They did months of research, and they came up with Shane Waldron, who was fired midseason and not even showing the quarterback what film to watch. A rookie quarterback at that. It's embarrassing stuff, bud. It's embarrassing stuff for an organization that really has fumbled the ball a couple of times, multiple times on coaches and quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's classic Bears instability. This would only happen to the Bears.
The hope is Ben Johnson.
Everything's working now in terms of what pieces should be where. There's no doubt. Ben Johnson was as good of a coaching candidate as there has been in years in the NFL. I know Vrabel was hired before him. They were never in the mix. Johnson has a chance now with Williams to do some real damage, and we'll get into the schedule next about who's in a good spot, who's not, and I think the Lions are in a bad spot. But Caleb should not be talking to reporters, especially authors, going into the draft. That's the bottom line. And then when I meant earlier, like manufactured madness, like did the Williams family want this put out there? Yeah,
just in
that
case,
would make it untenable.
Colin, just in case it doesn't pan out in Chicago? That's the only reason in my head. But like, if you're the Bears today,
save the biography for when you're done playing.
That's what I mean. If you're the Bears today, I'm going up to Caleb Williams going, bro, having a real conversation like, bro, what the hell is this?
Save it for when you're done playing. Unbelievable. I agree. PGA Championships going on first round. That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. We get into a little NFL schedule madness. Who got screwed? Who's in a good spot? Giants, brutal start to their schedule. We'll do a little bit of that. On the flip side of things, it's Russo and Rizzo right here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll, safety's the goal.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets
in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Rolling on here on Russo and Rizzo. Want to tell you about our good friends at Hard Rock Bet. Download that Hard Rock Bet app today. I'll tell you what, I love making me some MLB parlays. Now, Christian Cat behind the glass here at the City Place Studios. I have not been able to hit on a Hard Rock Bet parlay on the MLB side in a long time, but I got a feeling the Subway Series is going to be able to do it for me here. We got the Subway Series about to kick off, coming up. No better time to download that app with the with the NBA playoffs in full swing as well. You got that PGA Championship in full swing as well. Download the Hard Rock Bet app today, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and physically present in the state of Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you're concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. And again, look out on our Instagram page. That's at ESPN West Palm. Colin and I are always putting together parlays and posting them on our stories. Feel free to tail the hot hand one of these days.
The one thing, if you're a New York sports fan, think about that for a second. You get the Subway Series, Juan Soto's first time back at Yankee Stadium since he has signed with the Mets. And then you get the Knicks Game 6 at the Garden Friday night against the Celtics with a chance to close them out and move on to the conference finals. That is a huge sports weekend if you are a New York Knicks fan or a New York Yankees fan, just a New York fan. New York is going to be very rowdy throughout the weekend and most importantly on Friday night. Mike Rizzo, Colin Rizzo, Christian Cat. The NFL schedule is officially out, and we had the whole charade of releasing a little bit here and there and this and that and the other. One thing that I was interested in, number one, we want to speak of New York teams immediately. Let's think about a couple schedules here that I thought were pretty notable. Number one, the New York Giants, who are unsure of who's going to be their week one starter. Their opening part of the season, they start at Commanders, at Cowboys, Chiefs at home, Chargers at home, then at the Saints, then they got the Eagles at home, and the Broncos on the road, and then the Eagles again. That is a brutal schedule. Their only easy game is at the Saints, and that is not an easy game if you're the New York Giants. The New York Giants have a chance. Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles twice, Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos. That's a team who got burned. And I know they had the hardest. It's incredible how these schedules sometimes work out for a team that was as bad as the New York Giants. They had the highest strength of schedule in terms of difficulty because of the team's actual, records. That is a brutal. They might start 1-7 there.
It's important for them to get out to a hot start, too, especially with probably the expectations that John Mara, the owner there, has. I mean, this is a coaching staff that is returning that's under the hot seat. This is a GM in Joe Sheen who needs to prove that he made the right picks in the NFL draft. So, yeah, I agree. Bad role there for the New York Giants, and especially with a team that's kind of in win-now mode and I need result mode. Kyle, if they start 1-7, you start 1-7, here's the issue. If you start 1-7, It's hard to recover. Even when you get to the quote-unquote easier teams, the NFL is such a hard league to win in. And if you're going to lose the locker room at 1-7, that's my 2 cents.
It's very bizarre because if there was one team that needed a bit of a break, it's the Giants. And the Giants never beat the Cowboys. They started the Commanders. The Commanders are going to be desperate post-NFC Championship appearance. They never beat the Cowboys. They got the Chiefs early on. Nobody beats the Chiefs early on in the season. They got the Chargers, who are a difficult team that's going to be a tricky game. The Eagles twice and the Broncos. Their only easy game is at New Orleans.
At Denver.
That is between the start of the season and November. And that first November game, home against the Niners. And then they play all the NFC North in the Lions, Packers, Bears in a row. That is laughably hard. And like Mike said, for a team that needs at least a breath of life, out of that, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games, 3-10 is not going to cut it.
No.
If they're going to play 13 games, they need to win 6. Maybe not 6, but they need to win 5 at the very least. 5-8, you could survive.
How about that, though? At Washington and at 2 divisional opponents. And that's the reason the schedule's so doggone hard, is because Washington, division, good team. Dallas, I have expectations for Dallas. I think that's a 10-win team next year. Good team. Philly, defending Super Bowl champ. And then the ones you have in the mix, the Kansas City Chiefs, who will probably make the AFC Championship for the umpteenth time in a row. The Los Angeles Chargers, great regular season team. Harbaugh's certainly going to try to get Herbert into playoff form. And then at Denver. At Denver is one of the hardest games in the NFL, Kyle. With the altitude, that place, it's tough to play in Denver at 4:05 on CBS, man. You're right. It's the Saints. Doggone it. And that's the Dome isn't a tough place to go and play either. Or rather, it's not an easy place to go play.
Surrounding the Eagles twice.
God, man.
My God.
That is brutal.
If there's a team that got screwed, top of the list for me is the New York Giants.
And it's because you have all those divisional games at the beginning. That's the only reason. That's one of the toughest divisions in football. You look at the divisions. The NFC East, probably the hardest. The AFC North, probably followed by the AFC West. It's a tough spot.
In their last 9 games, only 2 of them are divisional. Only 2 of them. And that's the Commanders and the Cowboys. The rest of them, for the Giants, all their divisional must-win, gotta-split games, they got 4 of them in the first 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tricky spot. I don't know I don't know what the expectation is for the Giants at this point. I knew their schedule was hard. We knew that their opponents would be very tricky, but I don't know what the expectation is now looking at that. Because can you blame them if they go out and lose to the Chiefs, Cowboys, and Commanders, 2 of which on the road? You can't blame them.
No.
So can you blame the coach almost? If you're Mara, can you, what, we're going to fire Dable because they lost to the Chiefs? A lot of coaches are going to be fired if that's the standard. That's a very tricky spot now because it almost puts Mara in a tough position because he's going to have to make a decision on a team that has had the hardest schedule in the NFL to that point, with a young quarterback sort of baking in the oven behind Russell Wilson.
And you look at the teams that finish in last place at some of these divisions. I mean, New England's going to be a better football team. Chicago's going to be a better football team. San Francisco is a team I picked to win the Super Bowl last year, Colin. These aren't walk-in-the-park teams that finish in last place in their respectable divisions either that the Giants are going to have to play. So not only is their division tough, the games that they're supposed to get a break on according to last year, they're not going to get a break on. These are tough games. Listen, at Chicago, I think Ben Johnson's going to do a good job. It's a tough game. At New England, it's a tough game.
Very tough. I would be annoyed if I was a Giants fan. I would be a little annoyed because now that expectation shifts. The expectation, Russell Wilson, maybe he could squeak out 7 wins. They have a very underrated defense, in my opinion. They have probably the best defensive line in the league that's not named Philadelphia. They got 4 quarterbacks on the roster. They got a great second-year receiver. They got some talent. They got Cam Scatterboo in there. They have Andrew Thomas will be back at left tackle. He's one of the best left tackles in football. But with that schedule, I don't know who I'd expect to win games like that. I don't know who I'd expect to go 500 there. There's not many teams. So that puts the Giants now in a tricky spot because what is your gauge? If they start 1-5, But 4 of those 5 losses are within one possession. Is that a positive?
I mean,
I'd like to think it is, but you're going to have to think really contextually about what is success and what isn't.
Dude. At Washington, at Dallas, home versus Kansas City.
And then the Chargers right after, who Chargers are a good team. And then they got, we got our bye week. We got to go to a road game in New Orleans.
But I'm laughing solely at the first 3. You're on the road, 2 divisional games. One team just won the NFC Championship. The other team, and I got to look at Dallas' schedule, Kyle. I'm assuming that's their home opener. Who does Dallas have? And
they're on the road to Eagles first game.
Yeah, it's a home opener. That's a home opener in Jerry World with a team with lofty expectations that hopefully is going to be healthy. That's a tough spot. And then you finally have a home game. Oh, God. We finally get back to New York. Incoming one of the greatest quarterbacks in all time in Patrick Mahomes. That's brutal. That is brutal. Man.
You got to feel for Giants.
I do. But at the same time, like, wow, this is a head coach, and Brian Dable. You're gonna prove it this year, no matter what, mate. I mean, if you go 8 wins, 9 wins with this schedule, he's coming back. Bro.
Yeah, please.
He's gonna come back.
I'll invite you back myself.
Yeah, he's coming back with this. So it's set up to go horribly wrong or really good, because I think the owner isn't, to your point, isn't going to accept the 3-4 win season. He's gone. But if you win 7 to 9 games with that schedule and you see some improvement week in and week out, yeah. And no wonder they were drafted defensive line. They're going to need to sack the quarterback, Colin, 15 times a game. Obviously, that's an unreal expectation. Right. But you understand the point.
And they don't have their bye till later in the season, so this is all stack on stack on stack. And they have a Thursday night game in there. That first game against the Eagles is a Thursday night game.
But you're going to have to get after the quarterback this year. Absolutely. This makes me like what the Giants did, and obviously they didn't know the schedule was going to shake out this way, Colin, but they had an idea of the teams they were going to have to play this year. It gives me more respect for the Giants draft. I got to say, it does.
At a certain point, maybe you got to think, all right, we're not breaking any records this year, but I want to see steps forward. Yeah. Maybe that's our gauge for success.
And no wonder they got 2 veteran quarterbacks. You want a rookie quarterback going at Washington, at Dallas?
Don't even let Dart bring a jersey to the game.
Bury him in the scout team.
Don't even let him bring a jersey to the game.
Let him hold a clipboard and bury him in the scout team.
Jackson, this is how bad it can get.
Yes, dude.
We'll let you know. All right?
Oh, God, Colin.
You know what's another interesting one, too, is the Lions, who are fresh off one of the best the best season probably in franchise history. They played 15 of their 18 games that they played indoors. That's a big deal. They won at Lambeau, so keep that in mind. But they didn't play outdoors basically all year long. And this year, all of a sudden, they're getting tested a little bit more with tough outdoor environments. They play the AFC North. So they got teams like the Bengals, the Ravens. They got the Packers, of course, but they open at the Packers, so it'll be nice weather. But they got the Chiefs on the road. These are outdoor games that the Lions are not traditionally within. They finish off at Soldier Field.
At Minnesota the week before.
At Philadelphia. So these are outdoor games that the Lions have. And let's think about the Lions for a second. We know how much talent they have, but they just got gutted with that entire coaching staff.
Correct.
Gutted. So there are going to be a lot of production replacement, not with the players, but with the guys creating the actual plan. Dan Campbell, we love Dan Campbell. Nobody hates Dan Campbell. They're going to need to replace a whole lot of, magic from Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn quickly, because outdoor games, this is a difficult schedule. You're going to have to deal with the AFC North. You got the Chiefs on the schedule. You got a crash course with the Eagles, of course. I believe the NFC, they play the NFC East. So you're going to have the Cowboys. You got the Commanders. These are tough games. This is not an easy schedule if you're the Lions. I don't know what their number is on the over-under. I'll check on Hard Rock Bet in the break. But that would be one I'd flirt with the under, weirdly enough.
This reminds me a bit of the Eagles 2 years ago. Remember when the Eagles lost all their coordinators? You got
Granted, that was post after a Super Bowl run. That's a big thing, Super Bowl fatigue, which is why if you wanted to do that and bet against the team that loses in the Super Bowl, usually it happened to San Francisco, it happened to Philadelphia. Kansas City could be that option. But go ahead.
They lost Steichen to the Colts, and then they lost a defensive coordinator to Arizona. Now, I to your point, that was a Super Bowl run. You got all the way to the final game. The Lions weren't unable to do that. But Ben Johnson was a quarterback whisperer. The Glenn guy is over with the Jets now. I don't think this is going to be a situation where Dan Campbell is going to go out of his way to be too involved. Remember the reports we were hearing from Sirianni? He was too involved. He didn't trust anybody, whatever. He took a step back the year after, and they won a Super Bowl. But I think it's going to be a little bit like the Lions, or the Eagles, where there's some growing pains to start the year.
10.5 is their number on Hard Rock Bet. I think that's the perfect line. 10.5. That's 7 losses if you take that under.
Yep.
Is that far-fetched to see? But with all the production that they're losing on the coaching side,
you don't think it's going to be similar to the Eagles because of the Super Bowl run and whatever like that? I think it's similar to that because they lost both, and both of these guys were hot commodities. You got Gannon and
you're going to learn a lot about Dan Campbell here and how he delegates versus how he doesn't. So that's a very interesting aspect, is the replacing the two coordinators. The one thing I'll say is they're going to be motivated because they lost a terrible playoff game.
And I'm still out on Goff. I am.
They lost a terrible playoff game. But the thing about Goff is we're talking about regular season here. Goff wins you games. Goff can win you games. So we'll see. They got the talent for it, but are they going to feel the loss of the coaching? I'd lean on the side of yes. I would lean on the side of yes. NFL schedule release, reactions, let us know. 888-760-3776. Teams like the Giants, teams like the Lions, in a lot of trouble in terms of that actual schedule that has now been released. The Kansas City is playing in about 500 primetime games. They start off in Sao Paulo, Brazil, in that they play on Christmas. They play on Thanksgiving. It sounds to me like the NFL is interested in getting to that 50 million mark on a regular season game with that Kansas City Cowboy game. I heard the guy saying that today when they'd go around to a media tour after they put together the schedule. So that's the reasoning of why they put the Cowboy game on that Thanksgiving with Kansas City. But Kansas City's playing about 500 primetime games, whether they're trying to capitalize on Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, whatever it may be. Maybe they know something we don't. Who knows? Who cares to hypothesize? But there's no surprise there. Big rating. But give us your reactions to the NFL schedule release. Did you watch any of the videos that came out from these teams?
So I told Christian during Theoretically Speaking, I had to do I was happy to do Inter Miami last night. It was a late start. I had to get here around 8:30, Kyle, to really lock in, and I was here until about 1 in the morning. I missed all this stuff. I did see, though, Christian did tell me that Indianapolis and the Tyreek Hill and the arresting, that was a bit crazy.
They'd had to delete that too, but yes.
I did see the memes when I was doom scrolling at about 2 a.m. in my bed. I saw each team on Instagram and whatnot making memes of other teams within the NFL. I got a kick out of the Bengals calling the Browns Super Weenie Hut General. My SpongeBob fans out there definitely know that reference. But yeah, Kyle, I got to admit, though, even if I was home, I was not watching the 3-hour extravaganza.
No, but
I was not
once
watching.
It's all out, finally, I could go see who's playing who. Now, does every team need to release a 12-minute video illustrating who's playing who's playing what, and when? No, we don't need to do that.
They're bulletproof, Kyle. You can do whatever they want.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
Do whatever the hell they want.
Entirely too much.
The mighty NFL. We could do whatever the hell we want, Colin.
Breaking news, Mike Rizzo. We have Lindsay Lowry, who is now in the West Palm office, who's a teammate of ours, who usually works out of Colorado. She's in West Palm. And the thing about Lindsay that's interesting is Lindsay was a collegiate basketball player at University of Albany. She was a great player for Albany on a good team who went undefeated, I believe, in their conference a number of years ago. And she even played North Carolina in the NCAA tournament, had a good-ish game. They almost beat them as a 14 seed playing a 3. Lindsay Lowry is a sharpshooter. She was a 40-something% three-point shooter. She made all her free throws. She shot like 6 threes a game. She's a good basketball player, and she's a great shooter. That's her thing. That is her skill set. Mike Rizzo is under the impression that he could beat Lindsay Lowry in a three-point shooting contest, or in basketball generally, and especially the three-point shooting contest. Mike Rizzo, the self-proclaimed sharpshooter, will be testing these limits tomorrow against Lindsay Lowry. We're doing it tomorrow. It will be at 11:30 a.m. We're doing it with our friends over at Perseverance Basketball. So we're going to see. We'll probably live stream this in some capacity. Are you nervous here?
No, I couldn't care less.
You couldn't
It's
care.
going to be fun.
Oh, you couldn't care. You don't care. You don't care if you lose?
No, God, no.
You sure?
Positive.
If you get killed.
Listen, I'm happy I'm happy it's not one-on-one.
Why?
Put it that way.
Why?
It's a lose-lose, mate.
What do you mean it's a lose-lose?
Stop it. Stop it.
Why would it
I'm
be
not
a
getting
lose-lose?
baited. Not getting hooked. I can't wait, honestly. I expect to win. How about that? Is it
still a lose-lose with the three-point shooting contest?
My official statement is I expect to win.
You don't need to PR this.
I'm PRing it, man. I'm going coaches speak. It's a lose-lose.
If you lose the three, is it a lose-lose for the three-point competition?
Probably.
It is.
Just because I like to think of myself as a good hooper. So, yeah.
So why are you doing it?
Because our GM, Stephanie Prince, is very, very excited about it. How about that? I want to keep Stephanie happy, and I want to keep my job.
Mike is media trained here. That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. Taking a time out here right here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Most people in radio commercials talk really fast. But we made this one for RV owners. Progressive knows they like the slower pace of RV life, like this commercial. And they know Progressive will protect their RV at a fair price with discounts. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. You've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall. My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys are here to fight for you. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today, because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes is one phone call to take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation now. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. NBA action last night, I guess to some surprise. The Celtics put together quite a great performance yesterday against the Knicks to stay alive, down 3-1 in their building, winning 127-102. Dare I say the Knicks should be sweating a little bit? Is that unfair to say?
Yeah,
and we wrote them off, we wrote the Celtics off.
I still do. I'm not one of those people today banging the drum for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown played great. And I told you...
They hit threes.
I told you on the show last night. I said, if Jaylen Brown shows up, this is going to be a tough game. Lo and behold, they were able to win the game at home. Now, Kyle, if the Knicks lose Game 6, oh, dude.
Well, if it goes to a Game 7, yeah.
Kyle, if they lose in Madison Square Garden, I'll hit the panic button. But I got all the faith in the world that they're going to be able to close this out without Jason Tatum. I do. Get them back at MSG. Get the organ going. They do an organ, yeah. Get the organ going at MSG. All right, they'll be all right.
That's going to be a huge game,
dude. It's a must-watch TV. Not a huge
Celtics
game.
Celtics play well, they can still beat the Knicks.
If
they play well, they could beat the Knicks.
Colin, that is the game at this point in the NBA playoffs. I think it's fair to say that that's the game I'm most looking for. That I am
most looking for.
There you go. It's the most anticipated game so far from me as an uber basketball fan. I can't wait to watch that.
The Celtics can still beat them head-to-head if they shoot well.
Tough on the road, man.
It's a very tricky spot. I agree. No Jason Tatum. But if they hit threes and the Knicks don't, and the Knicks don't hit threes every game, they played great in Game 4. They haven't really played great in any other game since then. And they're up 3-1.
And Derek White, 34 points, man. But
he's capable of that.
He is. I mean, he was on the Olympic team. I think he's an all-star. 40 minutes, by the way. They rode him belt.
It's
yeah,
do
they
or
had
die.
to. They rode him.
Luke Cornett had 7 blocks.
Yeah, dude, they got a lot. I mean, Kyle, the bench production alone with Pritchard 17 and Cornett's 10. Sam Hauser tallying 6 as well. That wasn't on my bingo card.
If they could do that, if they could hit threes, they could be a dangerous out. Who do
you think Indiana wants to face? Indiana's sitting here, licking their chops to play somebody after destroying the Cavs. Who do you think they want to see?
That's a good question. I would be under the impression they want to see Boston in Boston's current form. But if they think that if I don't know what NBA teams feel about the Knicks. I know how I feel. They're tough. That's like sort of their mantra. They're not necessarily going to outscore you every game, but they're going to out-tough you. They're going to outplay you, but they're not going to outscore you.
Yeah.
So that's my broad takeaway of the Knicks. I'm not sure what the Pacers think there. Do they think we want to out-tough and out-pressure the Celtics, or do we want to get into a slugfest with the New York Knicks, who will probably have a little bit more firepower then, but the Knicks have some juice? I would lean to stay away from the team with the juice.
Kyle, I think they want to see the Knicks, and here's why. Boston is they do a better job of being a finesse team than Cleveland. We've talked so many times about how Boston's losing this series because they're not hitting their shots. Isn't that true, though? Look at last night. They shoot almost 45% from the line and run the Knicks off of the court in the second half. The Celtics could do that to anybody in the NBA. And I think the Pacers, and I've said this multiple times, so I'm going to have to hold to this. I said the Knicks play a better brand. So the Knicks and the Pacers.
I think you're completely wrong there, but go ahead.
The Knicks and the Pacers, I think, play a very similar brand. I think the Knicks play a better brand of bully ball, physical ball, get in your face ball. I don't think they want to see the Knicks because they play similarly. So we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. I don't know. I think when it comes to the Celtics, they could torch you from the line. I think Indiana's scared of that. I also think Indiana is scared of the way that the New York plays. If I had to make a decision, I think they would much rather see the Knicks because they know the brand of basketball.
The thing
they
about
know
it,
that basketball.
The thing about it is I would be a little turned off by the juice that New York would have in that spot. The New York Knicks would be buzzing if they make it within striking distance of a very attainable championship appearance, finals appearance.
But the Pacers have kind of bought into the, hey, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like their culture right now and the way they're flying.
This is it. No, they could totally win.
Yeah, dude. And like they had the belief. I'm not necessarily worried about
they're buzzing,
that.
but like the thing about it is Indiana's buzzing, but they played 2 5-game series. The Knicks eking one out in 6 after eking one out in 6 against the Detroit Pistons, doing it again against the Celtics, playing a little bit more tougher branded teams. They played the Pistons are a tough-nosed team. They beat them. Celtics, like you said, like to shoot threes, hang around the perimeter. They space it out. They beat them. The Knicks have now beaten 2 different types of teams. My thinking is that Indiana is going to want to avoid that because of just momentum. They're healthy. They're clutch, too. What is Indiana very good at? They're clutch. They make late game plays.
Never dead. They're
Steals.
never dead.
They come back from 7+ in the fourth quarter and overtime in the last minute twice this postseason. They've been able to close teams out. Halliburton hits the game winner in game 2. They're clutch. They hit big shots. So do the Knicks. The Celtics haven't done that. The Celtics either kill you or they lose. That was why I would be leaning on the side of they would rather, by a marginal degree, I think they'd rather see Boston just because of no Tatum and because they saw them last year and were right with them the entire series. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain? Need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care is a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. All you got to do is visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located right here in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. Christian Catt is our producer of today's wonderful program at the City Play Studios. And we got the PGA Championship. We got some golf major action right now, and Christian's got a scoreboard update for us.
We sure do. It is the second major of the year, and the big names, they're not showing up. I mean, literally,
not at all.
They are at Quail Hollow right now. They did check into their accommodations. They checked in for their tee time. They're just nowhere to be found at the top of the leaderboard, but that might change as we get later and later into day 1 of the second major of the year. The leaderboard is as follows as we get started. Ryan Gerard, he's tied atop the leaderboard, followed by Cam Davis, who also sits at 5 under. Davis still out there. He birdied 1 and 4. He played the back 9 and then the front 9, so he shot up to tied for first. Then we have a 4-way tie for third, 1 stroke off the lead. Everyone's in the clubhouse who's tied for third. Luke Donald, Ryan Fox, Alex Smalley, and Stefan Iager. You want to look for the big names, don't you? We're all looking for the big names. We got some movers, we got some shakers. 2 strokes off the lead, Keegan Bradley, as well as Bobby McIntyre and Matt Fitzpatrick are tied for 7th. Now we need bigger names. Victor Hovland, he's won a major before. He's also 3 under,
only
2 strokes
10.
off the lead.
Yeah, only through 10, too.
He's looking strong right now. He's getting a lot of coverage currently on ESPN. Scotty Scheffler, yeah, the OWGR world number 1. He is 3 strokes off the lead in the clubhouse, sporting a 2 under. And that is your leaderboard update, brought to you by Pain Care Florida. At Pain Care Florida, their specialists use state-of-the-art procedures to relieve pain and get you moving. Pain Care Florida. Stop hurting, start living today. This leaderboard update is also brought to you by the Breakers Palm Beach, Kaiser University, and the PGA Golf Club.
Got burned with Shoffley, Kyle.
1 over.
I got burned there. And Christian told me earlier, Riz still around, but let's be honest. I can't believe I took the former winner, too. Right?
The thing about it...
Christian, I took the
he's
guy
right.
who won
Everything's
it last
reachable,
year.
though. Everything's reachable at the moment. You haven't really gotten a feel for the course yet. The leader only being 5 under. The most of the crowd is 3 under. everything is pretty attainable at the moment. Nobody's really breaking any records. So if you're trying to, Scheffler's in a safe spot, 2 under.
Yeah, if the leader was 5 under and it was Scotty, then Houston, we have a problem.
Yes.
Because you give him that big head start, he's probably going to hold on to it. But
you
don't have any major winners really I guess Matt Fitzpatrick is 2 strokes off the lead. He's won a major before, but not too many major winners up atop the leaderboard right now.
I thought plus 1,200 was great odds for the former winner.
Yeah. How about Spieth, Ricky Fowler, Shane Lowry, and Jason Day all 2 over. Yikes.
Man, Phil Mickelson, so he showed up last night at 7 o'clock. For the first time anyone saw him on the practice greens, on practice facility at Quail Hollow. The day before the tournament. This is kind of unheard of. Shows up, rolls some putts, does some chips. He had a horrible day 1. Shot a 79.
Oh my
79.
gosh.
8
really?
over. There's a triple bogey mixed in there. Phil Mickelson showed up late on Wednesday, and he paid the price today.
Wow.
Would you sign up for an 8 over?
Yeah, I think I would.
You would sign up for an 8 over at Quail Hollow?
I certainly would. I would sign up for an 8 over. Yes, I probably would have had to start on the greens every hole to get that score at the current state of my golf game, but 8 over for me, I like it. 8 over for Phil Mickelson, who famously won this tournament back in 2021 when everyone thought Phil Mickelson was over the hill. Maybe not so much.
God, guys, Koepka's 4 over. Rory's 3 over.
Brooks is in shambles.
Cantley is 3 over.
Dude.
DJ is 3 over.
Even like Jordan Spieth, Cam Smith, 2 over. Is there a big name that decided? I mean, Christian, what's in the water over there at Quail Hollow? Kryptonite?
The early tee times didn't do very well. They had that feature group where the number 1, number 2, number 3 players in the world, no one did much of anything. So these afternoon guys like Victor Hovland, they might make some moves because there is definitely something to be had with this leaderboard.
Scheffler's in a great spot, all things considered. All things considered.
Just muddle around,
just
stay within
spot.
5 shots, and then
stay
go to the
within
weekend.
here, and he's always going to be a threat. Fine spot. McIlroy, how about that? He had his Super Bowl. He's good. He had his Super Bowl. 3 over. We're going to get Rahm is 1 under 2.
Yeah, Rahm's getting so much criticism because he's just not performing that well in the majors since going to LIV. The guy has not finished outside the top 10 of any LIV golf event ever that he's competed in. It's a streak that is going on for these first 2 seasons he's played. Yes, he has been top 10 in every single LIV golf tournament since he entered that tour. But since most people only watch the majors or the PGA Tour, people only think Jon Rahm fell off hard. So he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's at 1 under. He's got something to prove.
2 under in the back 9, Rahm was, so he actually played well towards the latter half, and he also had 4 bogeys in his first 6 holes.
He's also fighting for Ryder Cup attention as well.
Yeah.
These guys also really got to make an impression on these captains who are actually, competing alongside with them, with Luke Donald as well as American Keegan Bradley. So there's a lot at stake.
Right. 4 bogeys, but 5 birdies for Jon Rahm. How about that? 5 birdies, 4 bogeys. So an interesting first round at the PGA Championship. We'll give another scoreboard update as we continue onward in the round. We'll do a little 5 and 5 on the flip side of things as we enter into the second hour of Russo and Rizzo right here on ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Introducing DQ Grill and Chill's new sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strips. A basket of 100% all white meat seasoned chicken strips now being served with blue cheese or ranch dressing dips. The blizzard of the month is s'mores and mixing bowl mashup. Fresh cookie dough bites and brownie batter for a unique sweet treat. Don't forget a DQ Grill and Chill cake this season. Stop in and pick one up or get a custom order. DQ Grill and Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio-designed golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
It's a Citrus Series showdown as the Marlins take on the Rays, May 16th through 18th, and the weekend lineup is stacked. Friday, the smash hit Barbie Game Day is back. Turn the ballpark pink with exclusive jerseys and fun bites. Saturday, celebrate the legendary Celia Cruz with live music, vibrant energy, and purchase a special Celia-themed Cuban heritage jersey designed by local artist Dism 305. Then Sunday, it's family fun and our first ever Celia Cruz bobblehead giveaway. Join the party. Get your tickets now at marlins.com/tickets.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Oh, great. Just what I needed. More reasons to feel insecure. Have you seen the new ESPN 1063 billboards on I-95? Theoretically Speaking with Theo Dorsey and C-Cat. Big smiles, looking all important. Russo and Rizzo with Colin and Mike, like they just solved world hunger. And me? No giant Evan Cohen face gazing down on traffic. Unbelievable. But hey, at least you can listen to us weekday mornings 6 to 10 on Unsportsmanlike along with Chris Canty and Michelle Smallman right here on ESPN 1063. Because let's be honest, a billboard couldn't contain this level of greatness.
Mike Rizzo here with the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. We're still getting used to teams like Oregon, USC, and UCLA being in the Big Ten. The Big Ten announced today it saw its revenue soar to $928 million, with projections to exceed $1 billion during the current 2025 fiscal year. That is according to the 2024 tax statement that they released and The Athletic. But the Big Ten cleaning up the money and continuing to grow. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management program.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. With you at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. A beautiful Thursday afternoon right here in South Florida. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Go tune in to us over there. Or also, on top of that, we are going to be uploaded on the podcast websites, Apple, Spotify, all those great places. You can listen in podcast format there. Second hour, next hour, right, with us. And more importantly, we have the Club FIFA World Cup coming up, Mike, and we're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of stuff to look forward to on that front, don't we?
Absolutely. And you got teams like Real Madrid coming. You got teams like Inter Miami right here in our backyard going to be playing in the tournament. You can get your tickets now by going to FIFA.com/tickets. That is FIFA.com/tickets. But teams from around the globe, South America, Europe, North America, Middle East, Asia, everywhere, they're going to be right here in Florida specifically, too, at Hard Rock Stadium as well. We're going to kick things off here in South Florida, but there are fixtures all around the country, and the only place you could go and get tickets, FIFA.com/tickets. Go to FIFA.com/tickets. You could get, when you go to the website, too, it's got a link for you to go and purchase individual tickets. Do you want hospitality? Do you want to do things the big way? You could get it all at FIFA.com/tickets. But once again, like Inter Miami, too. Guys, Inter Miami's playing on the biggest stage. The Club FIFA World Cup, this is something that doesn't happen every single year. You know, like the CONCACAF Champions Gold Cup, the Champions League on the European side. This is once in a blue moon, and that blue moon is now. Get your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets. That is FIFA.com/tickets. Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Pep Guardiola, legendary coach, former Barcelona coach, current City coach, all going to be here. Get your tickets.
Christian Catter, producer behind the glass today at the Steady Play Studios. Christian, how are you today? What do you got for us?
Couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. Could not be better. Got 18 holes in with a new friend that I met at the golf course named Alfredo. He did not speak a lick of English, but it didn't matter because we zoomed through 18 holes of par 71 golf in about 3 hours and 5 minutes.
What'd you shoot?
About a 102. No, it was a 103. I don't know why I lied. I knew exactly what it was.
It's like that Jonah Hill in Moneyball Colin, when he's like, how many scouting reports did you do? He's like, I did 46.
So, Kyle,
actually, I did 52. I don't know why I lied just there.
What happened there is Christian left a stroke out there that he's really upset about. If it's a putt, Christian, is it a putt?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you walk up to like a 2.5 footer and yes, or maybe it's a 1.5 foot, and you think, I could pick this up right now. That's in gimme range. But let's, for some reason, drop my putter down and watch the ball go in the hole. You don't try, you don't think, and you just laser it on by, and you don't make that putt. And no, that does not mean that ball is actually in the hole. Just because it's in gimme range does not mean you automatically get a gimme.
What is your gimme range?
Inside a 1.5 foot. Inside there. If it's outside of that,
have you ever tested those boundaries and you got called out on it?
You kind of stand near the ball, and you look at the guy.
What do you think? You just could read the face. What are you thinking here? Like,
I don't often ask the question, "Am I good here?" So if you don't abuse that request, you often get granted.
Now flip that. Have you ever called somebody out for that?
Colin, Cade Chumson, who's on the air with us often. He did trivia with me and Rizzo about 2 hours ago. Cade is very good at golf. Cade was a college golfer at PBA. Cade is probably, right now, 6th handicap. At one point was a scratch golfer, competitive golfer, different breed. But everybody can miss putts. And sometimes, if I'm playing for money against Cade, because, listen, this is not straight up. There is a heavy handicap system and a scramble in place. If I'm playing against Cade, I'll watch him tap 2-footers in. Let me see it. I don't care if he played at PBA. Let me see it.
So, Colin, every Thursday morning during the summer, I would play with Robbie McCardle, our club pro, great friend of mine to this day, and Mike Ross. And Robbie and I, it came to the point where Mike Ross was Christian. He was picking up from 6 feet out. You know what I mean? Like, it came to the point.
Apparently Trump's like that. Apparently Trump will pick, if it's on the green, he's going to pick it up.
Christian, it came to the point where Robbie finally looked at him and said, dude, putt that out.
Have you ever played with someone who's really new to golf and they might think a gimme means that the putt that they stroke to get the ball inside gimme range means, oh, that's good enough. That might as well have been in. Yeah. It's not that you're going to make this next putt.
But like they will adding a stroke.
They'll have a birdie. Yeah, they'll have a birdie putt. They'll miss it, but get really close. And then someone will go, all right, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, nice, a birdie. No. That means you're in for par, pal.
Christian, this was...
You are such a golf police. I could totally tell on the course.
Listen,
if something's up,
hang on.
Christian's going
Christian's
to say
got the
something.
bug. He's got the bug, and he's trying to get better. And I absolutely love it because I was at that phase of my life.
You could get the bug, but he's golf police, too, with everybody else.
That's okay.
Hey,
But
Chums, and I want to see you cut
Christian,
that in.
Mike Ross was doing this. This was like in my when I was about 18, 19 years old, we would do every Thursday. This was the prime of my golf life, where I was shooting anywhere from 85 to 90 consistently.
Okay.
And
Heard a
Mike
lot of legends
Ross,
about this time.
Mike Ross,
right.
You should have seen my driver swing. Oh my God, I got a lot of work to do, boys. Mike Ross was picking up from 7 feet out. We were gambling. That was the issue.
Oh.
We were embedding imperial credits on the course, and he was picking up from 6 feet out. And I'm an 18-year-old kid. This is a 48-year-old grown, you-know-what man.
So are you going to call him on it? That's
exactly.
a tough spot
And
to
I
be
didn't
in.
want to, and I didn't want to sit there and call him on it. And finally, Robbie, who is like Robbie taught me how to play. I loved Rob. And Rob finally said, Mike, put that out. And Mike's like, what do you mean? You know I got it, Robbie. No. Put that out.
Well, that situation you're talking about where the power dynamic in terms of age, in terms of whatever.
Oh, I wouldn't take it.
That is what Colin just mentioned. That's why Trump gets away with it.
Yeah.
Because what? Just because you own a business, you can call the president of the United States?
Mr. President, can you put that in?
Guys, put that back.
And he's going to get you removed from the course.
I'd let the Don pick up at the tee. If he had it. Birdie good here, Riz? Yep. Put it on there. Birdie good here. Don't even have to take a swing, Don. You're
I've
all
actually
good.
heard a couple say that's what he's like. And it's classic Trump. That's no surprise to me.
Of course.
On the green, he's picking it up.
Love it.
On the green, but he's picking it up. That's
At least
classic
he's
Trump.
not the worst world leader when it comes to that, because it was one of the Kim Jong-uns, or it was Putin.
Yeah, he
who
broke
was
the course right now. It was the guy from North Korea. Yeah, Kim Jong-un. And he broke the North Korean course record by like 24 strokes.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he actually had 7 hole-in-ones this round. We've never seen anything like it.
And I think they had like a parade because of it. I'm pretty sure they had a parade.
Listen, there are some sick individuals that like run countries, but that might be the most despicable thing you could do. You cannot claim hole-in-one after hole-in-one.
But poor guy who had the course record there, and he goes,
legitimately,
he got cleared by 28 strokes by our world leader. He came through. Nobody saw it though.
Is it worse than 48-year-old Mike Ross picking up a 7-foot putt to win a hole and $10 from an 18-year-old?
Yeah, I was going to say, taking advantage of the 18-year-old is tough.
Come on, man.
Christian, let's have some fun here. Let's bounce around. Let's do a little 5 at 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
We talked about it in the first hour. You've heard a lot on ESPN radio today. Are we really doing this? The Celtics are not dead yet. After beating Josh Hart's face bloody in the first half, Boston beat the Knicks at TD Garden 127-102. Knicks still lead the series 3-2. Goes back to New York, then back to Boston if necessary for Game 7. The Knicks are still minus 275 to win the series. The Celtics sit at plus 220. Now that's gambling math. That's the Vegas bookie math. Give me the Russo and Rizzo percent chance Boston pulls off the improbable 3-1 comeback without Jason Tatum.
You know, the funny thing is, for the majority of the second half, I would say from the third quarter on, Boston was in complete control of this game.
Yeah.
Complete control. So you're telling me that for half the game, they completely controlled the Knicks, a little under half. I can't say that they're completely out of it. I can't. They almost still got the firepower where just if they get hot, the Knicks don't have the firepower to match it. What would I give it in terms of percent chance? I don't know if this is too high. I'd say 30.
I was going to go a quarter, 25. I give it 25.
Roll it 10 times. I think 3 of them has Boston coming back.
The only reason I'm there is because of how well Jaylen Brown played. Brown distributed too. He had 12 assists on top of, a really good game shooting.
He needed to have one of the better games of his career.
And if that bench is going to provide 35 points, the Knicks might be in some trouble. But we've seen Boston go cold the first 2 games. They went cold and, outside of Tatum. Let's call a spade. Outside of Tatum in Game 4, everybody else was cold. And the Knicks have won in that building. They've won in that building. They've won twice. Even if it does go to a Game 7, I'm going pure doomsday here. Even if it does go to a Game 7 without Tatum, I still like the Knicks' chances, man. So I don't know. I would take the Knicks. I've been high on the Knicks all postseason long. They've won me a lot of money with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet. I'm going to keep riding that train.
We've got a couple of wise guys here. You guys are on the money because the literal percent chance that the American gambling odds are telling us is that the Celtics have a 26.7% chance to do this.
I mean, 3 in a row. Are you going to win 3 in a row without Tatum? If they do,
but now it's 2 in a row.
Understood. But if they do, tip your cap. I'll go with the Knicks still. I think it's New York's. I say this, and I'm a miserable Cavs fan. It's New York's year to go to the finals. It's finally that team's year to have some enjoyment. I can't promise you they're going to beat Oklahoma City.
The Knicks
but I think the Mecca, Christian, the Mecca, New York, baby. The outside courts, summer hooping, baby. It's coming.
The Knicks are only 2.5-point favorites at home. So it's very, very, very possible. It's close to a coin flip game that Boston wins Game 6. Boston, a tie series going back to the TD Garden. Oh, it's going to feel like the weight of 1,000 elephants are on the shoulders of the Knicks players in that moment.
Yeah, the pressure. They've
won twice.
They've flipped the pressure here.
They've won twice.
Celtics had the pressure to win the series. They had the pressure to get back into the series. And then the second Tatum goes down, all the expectation goes out the window.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden they turn into an underdog. Well, does that suit them more?
The Knicks have theme, magic, and mojo on their side. No, still do. They wanted to close it out in front of the fan.
If the Knicks won every single game at TD Garden, I think that there should be the powers that be should remove the word garden from TD. It should be the TD Arena. It should be Madison Square Garden. That's the only garden you have in the NBA now. Winning all 3 in Boston would have been ridiculous.
It's like an imperialist. Like,
yes.
we take your title. We take your title. All right, number 2.
Number 2.
With the NFL releasing the entirety of their schedule last night, the Dallas Cowboys became the first team to ever have 4 Thursday games. My question for you, Colin Russo, and you, Mike Rizzo, what is the best day/time for your favorite team to play in?
Can I go, Kyle? This is really easy for me. 1 o'clock on a Sunday. I'm usually off on Sundays. I don't want to play on primetime. My team is terrible on primetime. They don't belong on primetime. Give me 1 o'clock on Sunday. All day long. My team doesn't have a single primetime game. Couldn't be happy. Give me 1 o'clock. 14 1 o'clock starts for my football team. Yeah.
I disagree with that.
I like it.
I disagree with that. I like enjoying the one thing, the one point I do agree with you on is I do think it's nice to enjoy the 425 and the Sunday night slate without having to worry about your team and going play-by-play with them.
Get it out of the way.
But to the same token, I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. There is such a slim amount of important primetime games to be played. I hate Monday night football games because Jacksonville never plays well on Monday night. I hate Thursday night games because nobody likes Thursday night. Sunday night, I don't even know what Sunday night feels like. I would say the 425, the late slate, I enjoy when Jacksonville's on there because there's only 2 or 3 games, maybe 4, that are on at one time. One of them is a buried Arizona Cardinal game that you have no interest in. And the rest of them, you have that game of the week on Fox, you have one good CBS game, and then you have your team playing. I like that because there's a little less to kind of allocate your perception, your attention. When you're at 1 o'clock, you got to keep track of 9 games, and you're in one play by play. It's a little trickier for me. I can't say I love it. And Jacksonville plays in the morning 2 times every year.
Well, yeah,
I do not like that either.
They're London. They're London's team, man.
Well, that's Vikings this year.
But you understand the point. Jacksonville is London's team. If there were ever a team to go to London, and listen, I want to be careful here because I've had my team move from a city. It would be Jacksonville. Do we agree on that?
They would expand there. They would not move there. They would expand there. That's what they would do.
I like when my team plays in any isolated window except for the London window, because I am as equally a football fan as I am a Ravens fan. So when the Ravens play at the same time of a bunch of other teams in the 1 o'clock slate or even the 4 o'clock slate, I got to split my attention. I can't completely be a Ravens fan and be a football fan.
As we know, you guys don't do multiple screens, so God forbid, you got to throw two TVs on.
I do. I do. And I can't fully appreciate that Ravens game for what it is because I have Red Zone on. So give me the Ravens on Thursday night or on Sunday night. That's my preferred window.
What's your perspective on, for 4 years in a row now, the Bengals at the Ravens are both in prime time. All of them for 4 years in a row have been in prime time. And the Ravens at the Bengals have all been 1 p.m. What is your perspective there?
I don't really pay attention to that, to be honest.
You don't think there's a special treatment there that the Ravens only get home primetime games?
Well, they're good.
Yeah.
What about road? They're still good. What about a road game?
They've got good environments. You've been to the bank?
I don't want to. There's good environments elsewhere in the NFL.
Kyle, known the jungle over there in Cincinnati struggles to get the seats filled. I'll say this, the Giant Purple Crab Cake, pretty cool place to watch a football game.
I will say, the only reaction out of me for the NFL schedule release, the only reaction I actually got was joy that the Ravens are playing on Thanksgiving. Ravens-Bengals, Sunday Night Football, NBC telecast on Thursday night.
We talked about it yesterday. The NFL did a great job in maximizing their Thanksgiving and Christmas lineups. I think they're going to do a very good rate. I think they're very interested this year in making some ratings records. And with Christmas being on a Thursday and Thanksgiving, of course, on a Thursday, they put some good games there instead of burying some crappy games there. No, I'm a fan of that.
No presence for the NBA on Christmas anymore. The NFL is officially taken over.
On the Thanksgiving front, though, isn't it just slop? Like, they know we're going to watch. So why would they want to waste a good game?
Why would they waste a Kansas City Cowboy game? To answer your question, they want $50 million.
They just want that number.
They want the number.
Yeah,
they want
do.
the number.
They do. For their advertisers and what, not that they need it because everyone watches the National Football League game. But I do like Lions home game every year, Cowboys home game every year on Thanksgiving.
It used to be the Bears too, but they put the Bears on Friday this year playing the Eagles. That's a good 4 days of games, and then the next day you got rivalry week in college football.
That hits for me. I can't lie. That hits.
That's a great weekend. The NFL did a good job there because instead, you're right, the strategic move is to save your great matchups for week 9 on a Sunday night slate when you need to boost ratings and utilize the holidays because they're going to get a great rating anyway.
Christian,
but I give the NFL credit for putting some good games there.
Excuse me, Colin, I agree with everything you said, but I'm going to skip rivalry week this year on the college football side.
Well, one last thing before you move on. Since 2019, home primetime AFC North playoff games, Baltimore's had 5. Since 2019, road primetime AFC North games, Baltimore's been on 1. When everybody else in the AFC North, Cincinnati's been on 7, Pittsburgh's been on 5, even Cleveland has been on 3. And Baltimore's been on 1.
When you are good, you get treated better.
Agreed.
When you are good, you play primetime games. That includes the road game. They haven't had that.
That's true. Once this negatively affects me, then I'll speak up.
Kyle, what's the take
Bengal
here,
fans got to be pissed off.
What's the take here, though?
The
There's
take
some
is
favoritism?
that the Ravens don't have to play in a tough environment in a crucial spot where the city and the crowd is going to be super into it. They only get to play in their building.
I went to Duval County 2 years ago to watch.
Which game? The Bengal game?
The Ravens-Jaguars game.
Yes.
Sunday night football where Trevor Lawrence fumbled when no one touched him. Mm-hmm. Tough environment. Ravens
was that
prevailed.
pouring rain?
No. It was nice out.
Kyle, you jumping in one of those pools they got?
No.
You're not jumping in that?
3.
Are you Christian? Did you have your bathing suit on?
Oh, I see the mascot. Is Sir Purr the name of the Jaguars mascot?
What's his name?
I couldn't tell you.
Christian, what's his name?
It might be Sir Purr.
It's Jackson DeVille. Jackson DeVille.
Sorry.
Jackson DeVille?
He wears like the Speedo cut bathing suit in that pool. So
nice.
Might get a staph infection if you do dive in.
Yeah.
More NFL schedule stuff. The 49ers had the easiest strength of schedule. They also are playing 0 teams off a bye next year. What does Brock Purdy have to lead the 49ers to in order for San Francisco to commit to him long term.
So, Colin,
I think they're going to be committed to him long term before they even play it down.
Here, and I was about to bring that up. Christian, remember on this show, previously said he wouldn't give Purdy a dime. He doubled down on theoretically speaking today and said the same thing.
I think they're going to be committed before the end of training camp. Now, the Niners like to drag their feet. I think he's going to have a contract before they play.
Okay.
You want to say prove it year? I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't.
Clock's ticking with that roster, Christian. And I picked them to win the Super Bowl last year. I'm not making that mistake this year. I don't know. I like Shanahan a lot. I think he's a great coach. I just don't know how good some of the players on that team are anymore.
Do the Niners want to deal with this every single year? Do they want to deal with contract dispute after contract dispute after Trent Williams sitting out, and then all of a sudden they got to figure out how to pay Ayuk? They got to move Deebo Samuel, or they're going to trade Ayuk at the deadline. Now Purdy, they want to go back and forth with him and make him do a prove-it deal. I don't think it happens that much anymore with NFL good quarterbacks, especially proven ones, and Purdy is proven. So I would say that based on the relationship I see between San Francisco and Purdy, I think they're going to have something set.
I don't know. Who famously once said, it was an NFL head coach, I treat my stars like stars, and I treat my bleep like bleep. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the NFL draft. Brock Purdy's not holding out.
Right, but my thinking is you're talking about actual money. Jamar Chase, they let him sit, and listen, I'm not saying Brock Purdy's going to get the equivalent of a Triple Crown, but it costs them more money to wait, especially with a quarterback.
Not if you don't sign him?
Well, then if you're not going to sign him, then they should have drafted a quarterback this year. They should have went and got somebody that they could have sit behind him, unless they're aiming to draft a rookie next year and reset the whole roster. If that's the case, then you could have another conversation. I'm not under the impression that that's what the Niners want to do.
Christian, I threw you to the wolves a bit there. Explain why you wouldn't pay Purdy.
Well, I will. But I would say you would have to restructure your whole roster if you do pay Brock Purdy. Right now, you have a loaded roster because you haven't had to pay Brock Purdy. So I would
I'd have to go through the actual finances, but it sounds like they could make this work. They're just trying to find a number. I don't know if that's completely accurate. I don't know the actual specifics. But you're right. They have older players with big, fat contracts. But, there are players that they let walk. They got Dre Greenlaw out of there. He went to Denver, and he even got hurt again, unfortunately. But, they let Charvarius Ward walk. They've let big players go.
They have.
So, for me, they got rid of Deebo. I would say they're going to figure this out, because why keep playing this game? Why keep playing? This is more of a Christian thing. I don't think you think Purdy is good. Am I right?
Yes.
You don't think he is good.
And I thought we saw 18-week sample size last year.
The thing about so you're going to blame last year on Purdy with all the problems that happened with that team?
Yes.
A year removed from so you're not going to give him the credit when they make the big run, but you're going to give him all the blame when they don't make the run.
I think it's dishonest.
How is that fair?
It's dishonest because we kind of see who's around him. And when he took away who was around him,
well, how many quarterbacks are great with
playoffs?
nobody around him? How many great? There's not a lot, Christian. There's 4 quarterbacks who can maybe elevate a bad roster into somewhat contention. The Niners were completely beaten up. Herbert goes out there with a bad, and I don't think Herbert's that good. But if Herbert goes out there with a bad roster, he would stink. Lamar goes out there with a crappy roster every year, and Lamar's great, and Lamar's good without other people needing to be great. But all of a sudden, we complain every single year why he can't get it done. It's because the players around him, and we don't put any blame on him. I do, but you know what I mean. Point is, they all got hurt. They were completely broken down. I understand if you're not sold on him being a $65 million quarterback, but if you could get him on a 4-year, $200 million contract with 125 of it, 130 of it guaranteed, I think that's not only a budget player for somebody that's experienced, unless you want to play the rookie charade again. And I think, honestly, all sides are pretty pleased here because you've been scraping along. And also, there's an operation in good faith that I think has something to do with this, because he's been getting paid. He probably gets paid $122,000 a year to play for the San Francisco 49ers going on Super Bowl runs. And he's been good in the postseason, too. I'm a Brock Purdy defender.
Would you give him a Darnold contract, a Geno Smith kind of contract?
He's earned more than that. He has earned more than that, I would say, $50 million a year, which would probably be like top 10, 12 in the league. And I would say make a hefty sum of it guaranteed, make it a 4-year contract. And if he's solid and if he has a good year, $50 million, and let's say Brock Purdy has 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and they pretty good. They win 10, 11 games, I think that would be viewed as a huge bargain comparatively to rolling the dice. The Niners are hoping that Brock Purdy's good. If they're hoping that he's good and he's great, then all of a sudden you got to pay him $70 million.
Now, I agree with what Colin's saying, but I also, I'll listen to Christian because I don't think Shanahan can stomach 12 interceptions in 15 games. I think the way that offense is run, they like to run the football, they like to take care of the football, and they like to hang on to the football and not let the opponent get it. If you're turning the ball over 12 times in 15 games, I think Shanahan will take an issue with that. But to Colin's point, was last year an anomaly because of all the injuries. I tend to agree with Colin.
My thinking is the whole goal for the 49ers is they want him to play well. They have an easy schedule. You just said they don't play anybody coming off a bye. This is sort of the last hurrah with this roster. If you really wanted to make it a last hurrah and then just let him play and then completely wash and reset the 49ers, I'm not under the impression they want to do that, but they're rooting for Brock Purdy to play well. That we could agree on. They're rooting for him to have a good year. If he has a good year, price tag goes up. And all of a sudden, when you can pay him probably $50, $55 million, maybe even 50 is the number I'm looking at. I'm not sure what the reports say. Instead, if he has a great year on a prove-it contract, he's going to be asking for 70. And they're going to have to give it to him because he earned it. And maybe they let him walk and say, good riddance, we're not dealing with it. But then you're just operating in bad faith. And I'm not sure if that's the impression the Niners want to give. Let's move on.
Number 5.
Skipping all the way to number 5. Did you see this in Major League Baseball? Well, the Baltimore Orioles were swept by the Minnesota Twins.
They've been so bad.
This is
Pitching.
what Ryan O'Hearn had to say about this sweep after that 4-0 loss to solidify the sweep. I thought it was a good series in Anaheim for sure. It kind of feels like a kick in the groin. My question for you, Mike, you, Colin, what else in life that we all face, maybe once every month, once every year, feels like a kick in the sensitive area?
So there's a couple ways you could do this. You could do like an actual event that, it's just such a demoralizing, deflating feeling that it almost feels like that, or you could do something physical. I'm leaning on the side of the latter, and or the former, I should say, and something that like an event that happens to you that is almost as deflating and as, the worst day of my life. Pulled over.
Oh.
Pulled over is like getting a kick in the groin.
So how about this? I have a story for that. My plates are not from this state. Obviously, I've lived in Illinois and Ohio. And I got pulled
changed soon.
Time out. I got pulled over because of my stickers being expired. And I explained to him, hey, I'm heading home. I'm going to figure this out. First time ever a police officer let me off with a warning. And guess what? Stickers came in the mail. Got the stickers on today. So guess what? Yes. Him giving me a warning was warranted. So I listen, I cannot believe every time I've been pulled over, I've gotten a ticket. So fair play to the officer who pulled me over on Okeechobee while I was heading back into work, baby. Fair play to you, officer. He was a motorcycle cop. I hope you're listening, my man. Absolute professional, too. You see some of these horror stories sometimes. Absolute professional. Very respectful. I was very respectful.
Dude, he already let you off with the warning.
But at the same time, like, you know what I mean?
He already let you off.
You're going to get a PBA card?
But you understand what I'm saying. Like, God, great experience. That was the best experience I ever had getting pulled over. Mine's working out. Listen, I love the way I feel after I work out, but I wish as humans, you could just pick how you are and you didn't have to work out. Like, I don't have a metabolism. If I ate a cheeseburger, I'd be 5 pounds heavier. And recently, it came to my attention, I'm not going to go into the story, it came to my attention that I might be a little overweight. So now, I used to be 380 pounds. I'm not that. I'm 207 pounds. I probably should be 190. So I got some work to do,
But you've been dieting.
I have been dieting. I've lost 10 pounds, but it's neither here nor there. I was 217. I'm down to 207.
Right.
Great. Perfect. We're going to keep going here.
Progress.
You're not going to recognize me in a month.
So you think working out, period, is that feeling?
It's just like, I wish I didn't have to do,
I wish it
is a chore.
You got to learn to love it. You got to learn to love it.
Hang on. It is a chore. Damn it. It is a chore
to
work out and be in shape.
It's not a chore.
Yeah.
That is unfair adversity.
When you have Mike Rizzo's metabolism and you eat a cheeseburger and you can see your love handles physically getting bigger in the mirror, yeah. I wish I didn't. I wish I had a metabolism and didn't have to work out.
So that's Mike choosing to get kicked in the groin metaphorically. I got another one. Missing a flight.
Has that happened to you?
Because of other circumstances, because of late travel and the connecting flights, yes. Missing flights because of that.
Agreed.
That there is nothing more deflating than no. For me, my only experience has been, unless it's been canceled, has been connecting flights coming in late. But that is a very demoralizing feeling. I hate losing hours on a travel day when it's planned out.
I missed the flight because a No Names Please airline made me tag my bag at the gate.
Ooh.
And I had to wait for the bags to be distributed.
Sabotage.
On the walkway. I was so upset. Oh.
That ruins my day.
I
love having a structured, to the point. I like going early. I like making sure that I am in my destination at some point in the early afternoon in the morning. I'll be the first flight out, no problem.
All right.
But if I miss it, oh, God, it ruins my day.
I know we're up against it. Let me give you one more Christian, I got something coming up here next week. I'm going to be doing the show from the Cleveland offices, in the flats Wednesday and Friday, because next Thursday my cousin Paigey graduates from Holy Name High School. There are 600 people that go to Holy Name High School, and I have to sit there.
Enjoy those names being called.
And I have to sit there and wait for the P section. And fair play to Uncle Jay. He's in town. He's listening to the show. You know, it's his daughter. It's my cousin, all right? And we got to wait there for hours on end to hear one name called until we are allowed to leave. Graduations are the worst. College, high school.
Repeated kicks to the groin.
Oh, God. Oh, God. My cousin Lucas.
Hopefully she's not listening. Yeah.
My cousin Lucas, Ohio State. 2,000 kids. They had to split it up.
You're going to go to Ohio State for your cousin's graduation?
This was last year.
Oh.
They had to split it up. They had to do 2 days, Christian. 2 days.
Yeah, Wisconsin didn't call all the... I mean, I guess it depends on the school. Yeah, the smaller schools call the names, but the big one doesn't.
We had to split it up.
Ready for this? Uber Eats cancels your order.
Oh, God.
That's a kick in the groin.
It is, and because you want to know why?
I don't
Sometimes,
get Uber Eats at all.
Here's the thing.
I like getting it myself.
Here's the issue. Sometimes they say, oh, we've refunded your money, and they took an extra $50 that you spent on you and your order for your significant other. This has happened. Like a year and a half ago, all right? When I still was dating somebody. We got to...
You don't owe us an explanation.
All I know is, Christian, we
Much needed context.
We got Uber Eats, whatever, No Names Please, other one, and $50 was extracted from the account. And then they said, oh, your order was canceled. We've refunded you. They took an addition, instead of refunding me, they took an additional $50 out of the account. I call and they go, yeah, mistake on our end. Sorry, 7 to 10 business days, you're going to get your money back. Now I'm out $100. And I go, how the hell is this fair? And I threw a hissy fit until they threw some credit to my DoorDash account as well.
It worked, though.
Oh, it worked. It worked because I threw a hissy fit.
Losing your keys or wallet is another one.
Ooh. Oh. Well, that's what I call your system.
Yes.
That's your system. Your wallet, phone. We have a famous saying at OU. You slap your pockets.
That was invented at OU?
You
slap in the pockets for your...
Kyle, my buddy looked at me, lost his wallet. He goes, Riz.
That's a good idea.
He goes, Riz. Slap the pockets, realized nothing was there, knew I was in a bad spot.
Wow, Ohio University invented slapping your pockets for your keys.
2017, we were smoking cigarette outside of Stevens Bar, and my buddy D-Wed goes...
Dusty Baker invented the high five.
Fascinating that was invented there. Christian, what's going on in the PGA Championship?
So let's do a leaderboard update brought to you by Pain Care Florida. At Pain Care Florida, their specialists use state-of-the-art procedures to relieve pain and get you moving. Pain Care Florida. Stop hurting. Start living today. This leaderboard update is also brought to you by the Breakers Palm Beach, Kaiser University, and PGA Golf Club. We've got movers, we've got shakers. Cam Davis, the Australian, is now your solo leader at 6 under. He is on the front 9 right now, but he played the back 9 first. Through 16 holes, he's at 6 under. Ryan Gerard, I told you, has been in the clubhouse for a while now. He's in solo second at 5 under. We have a pileup tied for third, 2 strokes off the lead at 4 under. Notable names in that pileup: Adam Scott. How about the elder statesman? That 4 under on the tournament, tied for third, as well as Luke Donald. Some other big names, if you look and scroll and scroll and you scroll and you try to find someone notable. Scotty Scheffler tied for 20th at 2 under, so he's 4 strokes off the lead. And you look for more. Colin Morikawa also tied for 20th at 2 under, as is Ludwig Oberg at 2 under. So you've got big names that are lurking. You just won't see it on the broadcast when you show that top 3. So we are able to have a very entertaining leaderboard this time tomorrow. Mark my words. That was your leaderboard update brought to you by Pain Care Florida.
Appreciate that, Christian. That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. We will go streaking with Hard Rock Bet. We will close out the program. On the flip side of things, stick around for Russo and Rizzo coming back up on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
ESPN West Palm is highlighting the best performance of the week, presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Every week, a different team will be featured across ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm Play. The winning performance receives $500, courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Do you know a team, player, or school with a killer performance? Nominate them by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go where the pros go.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Introducing DQ Grill and Chill's new sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strips. A basket of 100% all white meat seasoned chicken strips now being served with blue cheese or ranch dressing dips. The blizzard of the month is s'mores and mixing bowl mashup. Fresh cookie dough bites and brownie batter for a unique sweet treat. Don't forget a DQ Grill and Chill cake this season. Stop in and pick one up or get a custom order. DQ Grill and Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
It's been a chilly start to the year, but don't let the rising temperatures catch you off guard. Hey, it's Colin Russo, and since 1960, John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing has proudly served Palm Beach County, keeping homes cool and comfortable. Now's the time to upgrade your AC with great financing options. Plus, ask about the Cassidy Care Club, providing year-round peace of mind. Cassidy is part of our local community and supports organizations like the YMCA and the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association. Keep cool with Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Find out more at CassidyAC.com.
Introducing the bold, the powerful, the all-new 2025 Range Rover Sport P530 Dynamic SE. A luxury SUV that commands attention with its refined design, dynamic performance, and cutting-edge technology. Lease the 2025 Range Rover Sport for just $1529 per month for 36 months. Drive in style, power, and comfort, all for just $1529 a month. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take the new Range Rover Sport for a spin. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3, Thursday, May the 15th, 2025. Well, you got some Game 6 action between the Celtics and the Knicks coming up this weekend. A big weekend for New York sports fans. You got Juan Soto going back to Yankee Stadium for the first time since he has signed with the New York Mets. You got Thunder and the Nuggets, Game 6 in Denver tonight, 8:30. Tip-off in that one. So a lot to look forward to. Edmonton moved on. You're going to have a Game 6 between the Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs on Friday as well. The Panthers have seemingly found their groove, have really locked in defensively. The Maple Leafs in a lot of trouble, but I am going to root for a Game 7 because I like Game 7s, and maybe the Maple Leafs can reconstruct a little bit of momentum. But all this is going to be happening, and you might as well go have some fun and go sprinkle a little action with it with Hard Rock Bet. Go download the app today on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started now. Hard Rock is catered to somebody who likes parlays. So if you want to put together a bunch of different props or point spreads, over-under totals, first half, live, you name it, parlay it, put as little as $1, increase your odds. I know we love to have a blast with that. With the parlays. You get the PGA Championship, of course, throughout the weekend. So take a flyer on one of those big names that didn't have a great first round. You heard it from Christian last segment. You have guys like McIlroy, guys like Schauffele, guys like Shane Lowry, who are not in the mix at the moment, who had a bad first round, but are definitely dangerous as this tournament rolls on. So because of that, you might as well throw a flyer. Go get some odds out of it on Hard Rock Bet. Best part is about Hard Rock, you get $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. First bet can be a parlay, prop, over, you name it, they got it. Hard Rock Bet, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager, terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. All right, let's have some fun here. Speaking of that, let's make a couple. I like the idea of taking a couple flyers here. This is Christian's wheelhouse because Christian loves taking these golf picks after these basically towards the conclusion of round 1 of the PGA Championship. Let's go streaking with our friends over at Hard Rock Bet.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
We can't lose. We can't lose. We can't lose.
Survive and Advance is the name of the game.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure!
Tail the hot hand.
Continue this improbable run! 22 consecutive wins!
And fade the cooler.
Everything he touched turned to mush. He would go to the racetrack, and the teller would give him his tickets already ripped up.
Let's go streaking.
We're going streaking!
Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
All right, let's go streaking with Hard Rock Bet. The whole goal is to try to stack wins or stack losses. It doesn't matter if you're winning or losing. Got to feed the hot hand or the cold one. Let's try to put something together here. I am sitting on a 2-game winning streak. Christian, what are you at?
I am on a 2-game losing streak, but that does not tell the whole story because I have lost 9 of my last 11. I have been really, really bad. If you want to make some money on Hard Rock Bet, you probably should do the opposite of what I say tonight.
2-game eater. I remember Christian faded me. I took the Nuggets plus 10. He took Oklahoma City minus 10. So that's where we stand.
All right, let's have some fun here. Are we going to take a golfer here? Are we all taking golfers? I mean,
is that what you guys want to do?
No, if it was earlier in the day, there would be hole by hole,
which you
live
like more.
betting, but now it's all pretty much, you can either have Scotty at plus 300.
We can save that for blitzing the book
Exactly.
tomorrow.
That's what makes sense. When we want to put together a parlay, that's when you toss in a PGA Championship winner.
You want me to dig in?
You
want me to
How
dig
about
in?
Scheffler still plus 300 to be the winner, and DeChambeau has got the second best odds at plus 900.
Still on the course.
I just am fascinated. They're not going to give these guys. Rory McIlroy is, what is that, the 9th best odds? Plus 2,500.
Well, people will always line up to the teller to bet on Rory. People love Rory both in their hearts and in their heads because by a lot of the specs and the stats, balls striking, fairways hit, putts sunk, he is the top player in the world this season.
Fair enough. I'm going to take Carolina, the Hurricanes, that is, to close this out because I think that a 3-1 series lead in hockey is dangerous, and this is closing time. I think hockey teams love closing out 5. Edmonton just did it last night. On the road against Washington, I'm going to take Carolina. They've outplayed them the entire series. They're favored on the road. I'll do the puck spread, so that's minus 1.5. I'm taking that. Carolina to close out the series tonight. That will be my Let's Go Streaking pick.
Give me the Nuggets. Nuggets plus 5.5 at home.
Is that the only NBA game tonight?
Yep.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go Nuggets plus 5.5. There's a little bit of me that thinks Denver wins this game as well.
I think I would bet Denver tonight.
Yeah,
that would be my pick.
Little bit of me thinks Denver will win, so I'll listen. They're laying 5.5 at home. Yeah, man, give me that plus 5.5.
I think that Denver will have this is their type of game, back against the wall type of game. I could see Denver playing really well here.
Even if I think the Thunder win, I think it's going to be hard earned. I think it's going to.
Denver's going to give you a good punch.
Yeah,
tonight.
I think it's.
They're desperate.
Pending the free throw game, which we love as gamblers with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet. Pending the free throw game, I think they cover 5.5 at home.
The thing about Denver that has happened throughout the entire postseason is which and who of the supporting cast of the Denver Nuggets are going to show up. Are you going to see a great game out of Aaron Gordon? Or are you going to see a very good game or a great game out of Jamal Murray? Is Michael Porter Jr. going to be, Klay Thompson reincarnated, or is he going to be basically the worst player on the floor? And
Right.
that is his spectrum. Are guys like, Peyton Watson going to give you minutes? Or are they going to have opportunities where Christian Brown, is he going to have a good game? That's the real determination of whether they're going to win this game and not as who's going to win.
And the Joker, by the way, for those wondering, averaging a triple-double in the playoffs right now, 29, 12, and 10.
And he's had a lot, and he's had a couple bad games, too.
Yeah, 44. He went 44 and 15 in a loss.
Yeah, and 5.
But yeah, I know it's commonplace now for a lot of these guys. It's like, oh God, the Joker's not averaging a triple double. What is this?
I think Denver is going to force this for 7. I think this will be a 7-game series. I'd probably take OKC in 7. But I honestly think this is probably what OKC needs. OKC needs a real punch in the face and a real challenge. It's like, growing up a bit. This is it.
Your bet is that plus 180 then for Denver on that money line tonight. But I will take the points. Minus 105, Christian. Minus 5.5, or sorry, plus 5.5 at home.
So you guys know it's well documented that I'm struggling when trying to make some money on sports. Permission to take a pick that is minus 130.
Go for it. Granted by me. Colin?
Yep.
That putt good? The putt's good? All right. Taking the Texas Rangers tonight. DeGrom's in the bump, and he's going against Hunter Brown. I don't know much about Hunter Brown.
Hey,
look at the stats, and they're really good.
I was about to say, probably one of the best pitchers in
having
baseball.
a good year.
He's on my fantasy team, too. I'm rooting hard for the Astros.
DeGrom won back-to-back starts. You're getting him at a pretty